Call our meeting to order. Roll call. Zone 1, Ken. Zone 2, Wendy. Present. Zone 3, Aaron. Zone 4, Lee. Or Zone 4 is Bob. Present. Zone 5, Lee.
Present.
Okay. Start our meeting with take some public comment for anybody that wants to talk for 3 minutes, and then just a reminder, we need to kind of keep our level down here as far as voices, because in the past we've disturbed our some of the workers here next door. So appreciate that. So. And where we have for speakers?
Is there anybody that wishes to speak that has not signed the list? Okay. First up is Mike.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Appreciate it. I believe we all know by now that this issue at hand is larger than Bonner's Ferry Library. It's a national issue. It's a public issue. It's an all institutions issue, and it's not going away. It's causing division and anger, and these divisions have seldom been characterized by rational discussion. I believe we know by now that there's a growing division in our country, even between moderate progressive left and the moderate conservative right. Unfortunately, that there are far left as well as far right radicals. Those who are on the far left are dangerous, malicious, usually out for blood. Those on the far right are equally dangerous, malicious, and often out for blood. I believe we know by now that calling each other names does nothing to address the real issue at hand. Calling people who are slightly to the left of center, radical, militant horn pushers, does not help. Calling people who are slightly to the right of center, militant, fundamentalist Christians, only adds more smoke to an already smoky atmosphere. Such ad hominem arguments are rampant in these divisive situations. It ends up to being so much smoke that the actual fire is neglected. Sometimes I think that's on purpose. I believe we all know by now the issue at hand is not banning books willy-nilly. Another smoke screen called the red herring argument. Nobody on the moderate conservative right are out to ban all books by Karl Marx or the 1690 Project book or all books that are not saturated with Bible verses. They're not even out to ban books that deal appropriately with issues of sexuality. I believe we all know by now the real issue is the local public library being open to allowing the possibility of pornographic material on the shelves. Such allowance, given the direction of current influential institutions, would all but guarantee the pornography in question would be on the shelves within a relatively short time. You, the local board, have been diligent in restricting access to porn on computers. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. We are merely asking for exactly the same principle to be applied to the possibility of accessing porn on actual paper. I believe we know by now what pornographic material is. If I were to put some up on a PowerPoint here this morning, hopefully most of you would be disgusted, and you would recognize it for what it is. You would shield it from any young people's eyes. You would escort me to the door, and rightfully so. The state of Idaho has done a great job in laying out what pornography is and making it illegal where it should be. There is such a thing as universal right and wrong. Morality is not a totally personal decision. One should not be allowed to do whatever one wants, whenever one wants, to whomever one wants. Such personal freedom would result in absolute anarchy. Absolute truth, right and wrong, thankfully exists. I believe you, the library board, know by now the right thing to do regarding the actual issue at hand. I and many others hope that that is exactly what you will do, and we will be there to support you and to help you as you work through that process.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Karen Glazer.
just wanted to take a few seconds to say thank you to all of you that are here and that you come. At this point, I think you're coming almost every week or maybe even more than that and getting together to resolve this issue and for really making an effort to unify our community. And thank you to everyone who's here today, because whichever side we're on, we all have to be present and participate in finding a solution that brings our community together rather than dividing it.
Thank you.
Matt Nichols.
Morning.
Over the past several months, our community has been embroiled in a heated discussion over what limits should be imposed on the content of materials contained in our taxpayer-funded library. On one side of the argument are those like me who believe that a taxpayer-funded library should follow a clear standard fixed by the community and reinforced by established state law. On the other side of the discussion are those that believe mistakenly that freedom of speech means freedom from all restraint in the pursuit of equal representation. This misguided notion leads these people to believe that all materials, regardless of content, have a place in the library's collection. However, the idea that free speech is without limitation is not supported by history or precedent, and there are countless examples of limitations on free speech that can be cited. One such area is with content that would be deemed child pornography as defined by Idaho state statute. This used to be an area where the vast majority of citizens could agree and there was no room for dispute, regardless of political persuasion or worldview. Sadly, however, in the last few years, it seems even this subject matter is now up for debate. Those on the opposite side of the question would have our community believe that this argument over appropriate content in our library is being spearheaded by militant Christian fundamentalists or carpetbaggers or any number of other pejorative categories. It would also have the community believe that we who are fighting to keep our library safe are in the minority and that we are outliers. This is a lie and an attempt to deceive and mislead the community. A simple internet search will show anyone with a modicum of intellectual curiosity that this same scenario is being played out in school board, city council, and library board meetings across the country. We here in Boundary County who are fighting this battle are not in the minority, nor are we the fringe. We're concerned citizens, taxpayers, and proactive parents who are trying our best, despite the efforts of some public officials, to keep our community safe. So I ask that the board members yet again revisit this decision on the materials collection policy and implement a policy that respects the will of the community and conforms to Idaho state law. Thank you.
Thank you.
Douglas Noy.
All right, good morning to the leadership. I appreciate the time. I'm calling for the current policy in section 6.4 to be reviewed and changed, specifically paragraph 2 of section 6.4, which states, "The Boundary County Library will not place materials on closed shelves or label items to protect the public from their content." I say again, the Boundary County Library will not place materials on closed shelves or label items to protect the public from their content. Current policy has the potential to allow for children to have access to sexually explicit material, and therefore would create an environment that is not family friendly and safe for children. To protect our community, it is requested that this policy be further reviewed and changed to ensure the safety of children within our community. As many concerned citizens, myself being one of them, I must incur about the necessity of these safeguards to protect those without agency, that being children. Together we can help foster a family-friendly environment which is safe for children and ensure the strength and safety of our community. Thank you for your time, concerned with the matter.
Thank you.
And that was all the names.
Okay.
What was your last name? Sorry.
Nowak, N-O-W-A-K.
Thank you. Are we on to approving the agenda?
Well, I think, yeah.
Or do we not need to do that anymore since,
Actually.
since we learned yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from that Aaron did from September 8th and 29th?
Yes. Kimber did the ones from
Oh, did she?
beforehand, so those are already in there.
Okay, which, was it the 29th, and did you have another date then too? or
No, I
just
didn't.
29th?
You had the
At the
ones
6th, yeah.
from the sixth.
Yeah,
So,
actually, Lee's. Did you have a chance to review those, Wendy, the minutes from the 29th that Aaron did?
Yes.
Okay, and, Ken, have you had a chance to review those?
Yes.
Okay, any,
Corrections?
corrections?
No.
Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion for accepting the minutes as presented for September the 29th?
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from September 29th.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor of acceptance of the minutes from 29th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, it's unanimous. October the 6th, we're gonna hold off on those till our next meeting, because some of us haven't had a chance to review those.
I just sent them out today.
Okay, yeah,
I was running
okay.
behind.
Yeah, that's, okay, we'll get those the next meeting. Then our next agenda item is the qualifications for interim director and also for qualifications for director.
So I did this, I cut and pasted, so ignore the fact that it called itself the ad for the director position. It's,
Okay.
I changed it for interim director, and I'll share this out to you, Ken. You know, I got rid of it's essentially the same qualifications for director.
Right.
I put the pay rate at $18 an hour. That kind of coincides with our top pay rate for the what do we call them, the salaried staff.
Okay.
Should you put any amount down that it might depend on the qualifications and experience?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said starting at $18 an hour. We've got a PhD that wants to come work for us. Maybe we'll give them $1 or $2 more. But, you know, feel free to change this. The other one that I did put in from Sandy's direction was the initiate and oversee a comprehensive talent search for a new BCL director.
You wanna go ahead and just read through the various items all the way through, so that
Sure.
everybody can.
So I put that the Boundary County Library seeks an interim director to lead our small award-winning library in Bonner Strait, Idaho. This is a temporary hourly position starting at $18 an hour with the possibility of consideration for the full-time directorship. The director works with and under the Board of Trustees, the board, to implement and administer the policies and bylaws of the Boundary County Free Library District and oversee the day-to-day operations of the Boundary County Library. Job responsibilities include serving as the library district's treasurer and chief financial officer, supervising staff including administration of personnel policies, hiring, firing, and promoting employees, and maintaining communication with human resources contractors. Implementing library district goals, objectives, policies, and budget while following U.S. and state of Idaho law, as well as implementing board decisions within this framework. Directing communications between the library and the community, acting as a liaison between the board and the public, and ensuring excellent customer service for patrons. Initiate and oversee a comprehensive talent search for a new BCL director, and other duties as needed. Job requirements include bachelor's degree or equivalent education, work experience, must pass a background check and meet all requirements for bonding and insurance to the district, superior leadership and interpersonal skills, previous supervision of 10 or more employees preferred. Strong communication skills, both written and verbal, ability to work well with diverse constituencies, understanding and experience with emerging technologies, familiarity with information technology systems, experience working collaboratively, strong team building skills. Interested applicants, we can probably get rid of the letter of interest and letters of reference for this position. This is left over from our.
Right, you're still gonna do a background check anyway.
Yeah, from the cut and paste for the directorship, but the resume that was verifiable experience. And we still need to check, Bob, can you check on that website? Boundary County 1 is the right place for them to send that?
Okay, I'll have to,
If we're still fielding that, or do you want,
oh, should be,
yeah,
I'll double check though, but I'm pretty sure we are.
and the address is good, so yeah, I mean, it's pretty close to the ad for the director position that I put in last time.
So we would just drop a letter of interest and go to submit a resume that list?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think that would be appropriate for this.
So any discussion on, what Aaron has provided here? Wendy?
The only thing is that the salary, I think should be just left. Cause I think that could be negotiable.
Okay. Anything else?
And I'm not sure that is a proper amount of salary compared with other jobs in the county.
Well, I mean, it's less than a Walmart manager makes, but.
So that's why I think that, it should be left to negotiate with the person.
Okay, Lee?
So could we phrase it, no less than $18 an hour depending on experience? And read it that way? Because it's, when people look at this letter, it would be nice if they had a floor that they knew going in, this is the least amount I would get paid. And depending on my experience, I could earn more per hour. Would that be acceptable?
I mean, we could say something like competitive wage and let them figure out what that means, but.
Your thoughts,
Yes.
Ken?
Yeah, you wanna basically have a competitive wage, so, I think that, you can't sit there and put out a, what Lee had talked about, not, below a certain rate, but at the same time, you don't wanna sit there and, you want the talent, for the position, so if they have the experience, then you don't wanna make it too restrictive in a way of, the amount that you're describing. So I think the competitive wage is a good start.
Okay. I guess I would, lean towards saying that, not posting a specific, rate, but, a negotiable rate that's gonna be competitive for that type of position.
There you go.
Okay.
So this is a temporary hourly position with a competitive wage and possibility of consideration for the full-time directorship?
Yes.
Is that-
I mean, this is our pay scale that we've got right here, you know. At the top librarian pay scale, we're looking. You know, this 18 is like our tech 3.
But we're looking more for the, leadership role here, like assistant director and that. So are you thinking that
You know,
director would be a different, pay type thing than interim?
Yeah, and that, I mean, that's why, like, we're making pretty clear this is a temporary position, that,
Okay,
I mean, sure, you might go up, what, $5 an hour if you're a qualified candidate in the position and you're working well and we need to keep you on for a while, but this, I mean, this pay scale is pretty high, even for the minimums.
And have we, I don't think we have, compared that to some of the other similar libraries of size?
I mean, this is one of the things that Kimber left us, she pulled together, you know, what the job pays at similar libraries around, so that's where we got this.
To compare,
I think it depends quite a bit on the type of experience the person has. You know, if they've got library experience or just primarily administrative experience.
Right.
But my feeling is that at $18 an hour, you aren't gonna find too many candidates that are willing to do that job.
Right. I mean, that's fine, I don't mind putting competitive wage in there and
Okay,
letting somebody come to us with the number they want.
okay. So we get a motion that states what we wanna say there?
I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to come up with the actual parameters of the job, right?
Well, we can, I mean, we can always put out, like we were saying, like a minimum and we're looking at a competitive rate and then.
Mostly, I'm talking about the time frame. Like, you know, when somebody comes on, we're like, well, we need you for 6 weeks till we hire the new director. Like,
Well, we don't know what that time frame is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and then if all went super well, which we can always hope for, then whoever we pick for this spot takes the other.
Right.
So,
One way or the other, we need someone to hire new employees right now
Yeah.
and to write the checks right now.
so I would make a motion that we accept the advertisement as amended with the starting at $18 an hour with removed and replaced by with a competitive wage, and so that kind of fits with the English there.
Yep.
And the second amendment would be, just taking out a letter of interest on the last full paragraph. And so it would read, submit a resume that lists variable experience as amended. I would make a motion, we accept that as amended.
I second the motion.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor of the adjustments that we mentioned, to the qualifications, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. So now we'll go to the director itself position. And there, I think we probably, my thought is you'd be looking at some type of a salary range.
Yeah, and I sent you guys that, I gave you guys that one last time.
Yeah, I don't think, let me see if I brought that.
Do you guys have the one that I sent, that I gave you last time? I mean, it's essentially the same. Ad,
Basically the same responsibilities, salary basis, the pay would be quite a bit.
Yeah, and I don't remember what
I have a copy of it if you.
Okay.
you have a copy. What did I put for the salary on that one?
One second. Salary position starting at 50K a year. Salary negotiable and higher depending on experience. Did you wanna pass that around?
Yeah, and so the two changes I really had here was the responsibility for the director includes conducting fundraising, directing grant writing, facilitating strategic planning. And in the same, the job requirements, fundraising and grant writing skills. And also the budget, took out developing and submitting an annual budget for the interim ad.
Is there any, discussion, Wendy, on any amendments for the director position on what Aaron has?
No, the only thing that I was gonna say, which he has taken out, is the actual salary.
Well, this one I have put it on at 50K a year.
And I think that should be,
We can say competitive wage for that too if you want.
yes. But the rest I thought was fine.
We probably have to give them some kind of an idea on the range we're looking at.
Well, I mean, that's what we have budgeted was 50 to mid-60s maybe.
Yeah, you can say the adjustment based upon experience,
Right.
go that route.
So if we got like a brand new college student, say, or somebody that had just developed or gotten to the, they were doing like the job before and then we make them director, the limit of the minimum we would pay them to come in would be 50,000 or more, depending on experience. And that, I think it kind of, doesn't it say that in the ad?
Yeah, salary negotiable and higher DOE.
Right.
Right.
So it seems like that's included in there, so that they have a floor that they're looking at.
Okay.
And that was the same thing I did with the $18, is just kind of,
Right.
we wouldn't pay you less than this to show up.
Is there any other discussion as far as the ad there?
And do we have an idea of where we're gonna run the ad? In the national magazines?
Well, I'm
Or
guessing
the,
we could probably check with the Idaho Commission of Libraries and see what avenues they would recommend. But I think we'd wanna, do it locally plus regionally. I think one of the hurdles we're gonna face is people moving into the area with housing and whatnot, if they're not already within commuting distance of the library. It's, but I think we should just cast as wide a net as we can as far as, the advertisement, locally, regionally, and maybe nationally, I guess.
We could find one of those jobs, ZipRecruiters or Monster.com or one of those.
Or Indeed or whatever.
Yeah. But I think you're right, the call to the Idaho Commission of Libraries person.
Yeah.
Okay,
Where they send it.
okay, do you wanna take that on, or do you want, me to,
Sure,
or
sure,
someone else?
I can do that.
Okay.
I can carry this baby all the way.
Okay, and then, let us know what they would recommend.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Okay, so do we have a motion, or are we ready to make a motion then as far as our ad here with the adjustments?
Do you guys want me to keep the 50K or not?
I would like you not to keep it. I think it ties our hands.
Even if you show it as a minimum, or?
Well, look at some of the other positions that are out there, and they don't necessarily mention the salary.
I think a lot of them do these days. In fact, they mention all the bonuses and everything, because they're trying to recruit you hard.
I mean, if they acquire, you know, we have to give them some type of, you know, they're gonna have to have some kind of a idea on what our range is.
But, I mean, but also, we don't want to leave it open and somebody's like, hey, I'm gonna move out there from New York, and you guys do $140,000 a year. And we'll be like,
I don't think so.
excuse me while I cough up my Cheerios, no, we can't afford that. But that's what directors in rich places are charging and getting all day long.
Mhm.
I think if I was applying for this job, I would want to see a floor. If I was new to direction, to being a director, if this is my first application for directorship, I would wanna know what my floor was. And if the floor is 50,000 that we agree to, I would like to write that down, just because it helps people make decisions. You know, are they going to be able to move here, their entire family, set up house, and buy a place and all that kind of stuff, and then live on the basic money we're starting them at? And I think they need to know that if they're, especially if they're coming here from somewhere else. They're gonna need to know that number, because that's gonna help them make a decision whether or not they're willing to come and work for us.
Your thoughts, Ken?
I mean, you definitely wanna do the competitive wage, you know, but it's like you're in the area, you wanna sit there and do with the competitive wages in this area. So, you know, it's a work, I can see if you have a floor and then the competitive, you know, wage based upon the experience also, so, I'm still kinda iffy either way, you know, whether you give the floor value or, you know, word it to where it's basically local competitive,
And that's why I like the 50K number, that's local competitive.
Yeah, cause then, I mean, that is.
We're competitive, but it's Saturday night circle track.
Yes, as a floor, so.
How is it worded right now?
This is a full-time salary position starting at 50K a year, salary negotiable and higher DOE.
Yeah, that'd be,
Our budget would let us get away with as much as $70,000 a year, maybe. But we'd be pretty top heavy at that.
and they better have the experience at that level, so.
You know, I'm not really willing to let somebody get that high with less than a year of experience at our library,
Oh, no.
so.
No.
But,
Maybe
you know, we have
after a
to,
couple of years.
yeah.
Okay, let it go.
I think it may be wise to sit there and do it from to have that floor.
Yeah, I mean,
Because if you go into an actual recession, you know.
an actual recession, instead of just pretend what we're doing right now.
Diligent and look at all that stuff.
So, unless there's further discussion, do we have a motion on,
I would make a motion to accept the full-time directorship advertisement as is.
okay?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to go with the advertisement as is. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, what's our next agenda here? Okay, our next agenda item is reviewing our library policies, so maybe you could take the lead on that, Lee, and just kind of tell us where we're at on that and what
So,
we need to do.
right, so there has been a lot of concern about the policy, that has come up at a lot of these different meetings. So, I think it was 2 weeks ago or more, I went to the school board meeting, or not, the school policy committee meeting. And basically what they had is a group of community members that came together and went through the policy in front of, and it would be an open meeting much like this one. You know, there wouldn't be an opportunity to speak, but what happened was they went through line by line and discussed every item in the policy. And we would start with the collections policy. And to be frank, there's a lot of legal precedent that we're looking at, and folks that are on the committee, and the committee is not set yet, but folks that are on the committee are getting what references we can find that describe what policy should look like for a library board. And recently, I have gone through as much of the library's policies as I could find. I started the first accounting of the policy was in 1983, was the first copy that I could find. And so I've been going through it and comparing it year to year, looking at the changes and seeing what policy reflects. And so my idea, and I've talked to Wendy, and I think we're in agreement on this, is we're gonna put together a committee. Right now we have one member from the community. We are trying to get a hold of another member from the community that's interested in policy, and then it would be a staff member from the library. And we hope, Wendy and I hope, that before the end of next month, that we've at least had one meeting where we can go through and openly discuss what our policy is. And my understanding of how it works is, we just had a training yesterday. So what would happen is, Wendy and I and the other 3 people would get a copy of the policy, and we would basically walk our way through it in front of whoever attends that special committee meeting. And our goal is to get opposing points of view and do it in the open. I think I think that gives people an opportunity to understand why and where we are. And hopefully that will answer questions. I don't know that we're all going to be in 100% agreement, but we at least know how we got here. And that is our plan, and we're continuing to move forward. And as we get the committee made up, we will announce the meeting, and it is as soon as possible. So that is what we're looking at.
And those would be posted both on the library, at the library, and on the website.
Right.
The time and place.
The time and the place and all that kind of stuff. And again, it's not one of those meetings where people are able to make comments from the public, but what I thought was a really good idea, having gone through the school policy meeting, is it was up front, it was open, it was line by line. And my hope is that having different points of view represented on the committee will address other people's concerns. So that's my plan so far. And I'd hope to make announcements about more timing and stuff, but we're still kind of working out the members part.
So at this point, what you're looking at is only dealing with the collection policy with this particular committee, is that correct?
Well, we're gonna start there for sure.
Yeah, but because I would think as you get into some of the other issues, say like reporting type issues, you
Right.
probably want maybe some HR type people and things like, different, maybe different makeup of the committee.
And it could be that
Yeah,
too.
okay, yeah,
And then a lot of the policy, you know, we're just kind of stealing from the ICREM basic policy, because they have a lot of personnel type
Yeah.
policy stuff. But this collections policy is the one that attracts the most interest, and I've done my very best to get all of the information prior to, and it's all incorporated in what I hope to be the next, or the current policy.
Can I suggest one more addition to your crew here? At least for the first meeting, maybe get our lawyer, just have them
Okay.
give you, you know, what legal ramifications you're looking at, and what issues you might face for certain things, you know? Find, you know, what the Idaho policy on pornography is, find out what that is, truly, you know, get the statute out there and find it, so.
And go through.
You know, that's important information for us to know. If we're following the laws of the state of Idaho, let's know them.
Good deal.
do you have anything, Ken?
No, but Aaron brought up a great point there,
Wendy?
No?
Here? Anything else?
Said my piece.
Okay. So, we get a motion as far as formally, doing our committee then and looking into the,
Let's
collection policy?
let's wait till he has his membership,
Okay,
solidified, so find out who it is, cause if we're gonna do this as an official,
right.
you know, what do we call it yesterday, the,
Governing committee or something?
yeah, governing board?
Yeah.
So if it's an official governing board, we need to have the people that are on it, and we need to officially
Accept.
appoint them,
Okay,
you know,
Okay.
as a governing board.
that'd
okay,
be good to run by a lawyer too.
okay. So Lee will work on who, be on that committee then and get back to us then.
I hope to have at least the names, by the end of next week. I was really hoping to have them by today, but
Okay.
it's just not working out that quickly.
Okay,
Still moving at the pace of government.
Yeah, it's great.
as far as our, do you see us needing a special meeting prior to our next meeting so we can get that going, or?
I would certainly hope so.
Okay, cause we could do that, if that's the only item, we could do that on a, like, call-in basis for people where it'd be inconvenient,
Well, and what we could do is I could rent, when I get everything squared away, I could, reserve the visitor center like we have before. And if I go down there and we're all on phones, we can do a special meeting and
okay.
just accept that committee as constituted, and then I can set up the next special meeting where we have the committee together.
Okay. And then,
And I think we need to do it as soon as possible,
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
because we are under a time limit.
right. Well, and I would like to answer the questions that are out there as soon as we can.
Yes.
okay, and as far as, your regular meetings, if you guys have any agenda items, be sure that you want on the agenda, be sure to let me know, so I can make sure we're getting those, everything that's,
Okay.
Good.
and, just some other updates, we, have been able to start paying bills again. Leonard, we took that stuff to Leonard's office here
Okay.
the other day, and then, we'll get that set up as, Jim recommended, so that we can have, the overview on approval of all those, and so we're still working on a few things. I've got a report, that we're behind on that we need to get in, and so I'm gonna maybe go to the Sandpoint Library and have that librarian help us get that to the state, because, of our current staff, none of them have been through that.
Okay.
And it's gotta be in, the total report's gotta be in by the 1st of December, but it's, there are some items we should already have in there that we don't have, so I'll work on that.
Well, and I've been going to the library more frequently these days, and I don't know, it's just impressive how well the library is running. You know, we've gone from 14 to 3,
Yeah.
and, again, those ladies are working hard to make sure everything comes together, even in the 4 days a week they are open. But I guess, you know, I've been talking to them, and their main concern is if they are unable, due to staffing, to open, that they may have to be closed if someone gets sick or something happens or something. You know, with 3 people trying to run 4 days a week at a public building, and I was pretty clear that the idea was that their health and concern was first, and if we have to close the library for a day or 2 or however long that is, it was okay with us.
Yeah, especially where it's on 2 floors,
Right.
so it's kinda hard to
Manage the whole
manage
thing.
that and keep track of what's going on if you've got limited staff there.
Right.
Okay, that was all of our agenda items, so we have a motion for adjournment unless someone else has something else that's just for general discussion or.
No.
Okay,
I would make a motion to adjourn.
okay, motion's been made to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
Can second?
Actually, we don't.
We don't, but you can do it if you want, Ken.
We found,
Making sure that we're following.
yeah, we found that out yet.
Yeah. I like the formality of it, though.
All right, well, all right, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Can I say
We
something?
have 48.
I was, just wanted to comment on 2 things. Number one is, when you were talking about pay, I don't know if you've been made aware yet, but the Coeur d'Alene Library Network, which is not the Coeur d'Alene Library, it's the other one, they just lost their director. She quit. So now you're gonna have 2 directors
They're looking for
positions in
director
North
too.
Idaho. So you're gonna be competing, and I don't wanted to let you know
We're
that.
not competing
Because I was
with
like,
the
and then the other thing is if somebody wants to apply for the committee, how do they do that?
We're gonna put, if you put in the ad,
No, for Lee's committee.
For the committee.
for police committee? Oh,
I guess you could talk to me.
Okay.
Are you interested?
No.
Okay.
No, I'll be sitting in the crowd, rooting you on.
Okay.
I'll bring the donuts and the coffee.
Okay.
I'd be interested. Yeah, I was,